Alright everyone, it's time for YouTube AdSense Armageddon. Everyone's completely up in arms, all the larger creators anyway, that have gotten hooked on the corporate teat about YouTube's new AdSense. Oh no, any edgy content whatsoever will get you demonetized. We'll never make another red cent. That's funny, it doesn't affect me at all because I never took ad revenue. Link in the description, by the way, to my Patreon page, because I've been taking crowdfunding. And that's really the solution, is it not? If you're not willing to play nice with the corporations, if you want to post relevant material, if you want to talk about current events, politics, social issues, anything that could be construed even slightly as being edgy, be it called spirituality, certainly, especially an old way of YouTube, then you're going to want to take crowdfunding. But I already warned you that that's what you wanted to do, and most of these creators that are now whining to their subscriber bases never did that. Joke's on you. I was right. You were wrong. You were expecting it, I guess, to blow over. Well, it sucks to be you. See, here's the problem with AdSense and in ads on YouTube in general. The first problem is I would have been a hypocrite to enable AdSense because I use ad blocking software, and I'm unrepentant about that. YouTube Red? Yeah, I'd be willing to pay YouTube $4.99 a month. I like YouTube. I'm addicted to YouTube. Hell, I spend a great deal of time on YouTube. Wouldn't matter to me. In fact, all my subscribers out there, if you want to counterbalance these corporations that are leaning on the major content creators on this platform, get YouTube Red. You're probably blocking ads anyway. Why not give YouTube a little bit of its due if you're a content creator? You know, you're making a couple hundred a month, crowdfunding or whatever. Why the hell not? And you're still making money. It's just you're spending a little bit of that helping propping up YouTube. I think it's more than fair, by the way. And actually, some people have proposed that everyone should just get YouTube Red and it would stop this problem. I'm not entirely unreceptive, by the way, to that logic. It's just a matter of organizing people to do that. Another thing is this. Do you honestly think, to all of the major content creators out there currently bitching to their subscriber bases because I'm being demonetized left and right, I'm losing so much money, do you honestly think, I'm going to test your intelligence here because I predicted exactly this would happen back in December, and you can go back and you can find my video on the subject if you don't believe me. Do you honestly think that corporations and the legacy media wouldn't do this? Do you think that they would relinquish power willingly? That the corporations, number one, wouldn't lean on YouTube with the vast amount of money that they have in order to have the tools necessary to make sure that anyone posting anything beyond G-rated would get ad revenue? That's number one. Number two, do you think that when the Wall Street Journal declared PewDiePie, of all people, to be a Nazi, did you honestly think that it would stop there, or did you think that it would go further? Let me ask you that. Take a moment to consider that for, just take 10, 15 seconds. See if the logic doesn't seep through into your brain. Yeah. Did you think it would stop there, or do you think it would go further into people who actually covered politics and religion and things like that? Yeah, I think it was the latter. Here's the thing, though. You never even read YouTube's Adsense TOS when you signed up for it, probably. You said, oh, I can get money from corporate advertisers. I've got a 250,000, 1 million subscribers or whatever. I get a huge amount of fan base. Yeah, of course I can get free money for this. I can get like, $200-300 a day. I'll be golden. I'll be buying a house in no time. That's what you thought. You see, the problem is then you become controlled. The same people that pay you are the ones that control you. I'm controlled by my fans because I crowdfund, and by a bunch of bibliophiles that are buying old edited works off of Amazon. Those are the people that control me, not some friggin' corporation. I'd be more than willing to shout out, a Red Bull company every week or something in exchange for a free 4-pack or something like that. But if any corporation came along and said, Sticks, we want you to market our product, just prop it up in the background or something, I'd say no, because I don't want to be controlled by them. What if I don't like the product? What if I want to stop using the product or something like that? When you take AdSense, you're giving Google and whatever corporate sponsors Google is working with power over your creative content. You're no longer an independent content creator. Now, there are other people, in all honesty, that are on YouTube that have significant audiences who have never taken a penny of ad revenue. To them, I say, bravo. You had foresight. You have intelligence. I know Molyneux is one of these people. I believe Varg and Razorfist both fall into this category as well. And I believe Sargon, actually. I believe he crowdfunds predominantly. For all others, I would say, what are you complaining about? What, you didn't think that these corporations eventually would have their due by supplying most of YouTube's meager income? Until the actual user base of YouTube starts funding YouTube, you're going to have to either sanitize your content, and if you're willing to do that, no problem. If you're like a gamer or something and you're willing to cut out the next H-bomb that you drop so that you don't get demonetized, well, there you go. Well, I guess, yeah, it's more bland material. It's not as edgy. It's not as interesting to my demographic, but yeah, it bodes well to the preteens that I guess are pouring onto YouTube in large numbers that the Wall Street Journal is so friggin' worried about. Okay, you'll be fine. You can take ad revenue. Or you can shut off ad revenue. You can crowdfund. Or you can just shut up and stop whining about it and take no money. Sell merchandise or something like that. YouTube's not telling you can't do that. My videos are automatically demonetized, by the way, now. I think it's because I have a Patreon link in all of the descriptions. I think YouTube makes it mutually exclusive. You can take ad revenue or you can crowdfund, but you can't do both. And some people were doing both in the past. I chose to go down the former route. I never took AdSense. I have made not one single red cent off of AdSense. I have never enabled monetization on any of my videos. I am capable of doing so. Why would I want to? I remember a golden time when YouTube automatically served ads on every video, but they were on the side of the video. And they only benefited YouTube, by the way, to Google. If you want to do that, put a little banner ad underneath every video description. Or one on the side of every video while it's playing or something. Why don't you do that? Why don't you put ads there from like small businesses and stuff like that to help make up the difference so you don't have to worry about these corporations so much? I feel a little bit of pity towards those larger creators who were making six-figure salaries and are now making a pittance because their content is not politically correct. But for them to come out and attack YouTube when it's really the fault of the legacy media and a bunch of corporations for what's going on is ludicrous. Do you think that Google woke up one day and rubbed its greedy hands together and said, how can we screw our own content creators that are making us ad money by removing ads from their videos? This is going to be great. We're going to insert new TOS. By the way, most of it's not even new. YouTube did you a solid. YouTube spent 2 years not even enforcing the TOS regarding AdSense so that you could make a fortune. You made collectively probably billions of dollars in the process because YouTube didn't want to make it an issue. They said, well, it might be a little bit edgy, but who cares? Yeah, it breaches our TOS, but not that much. So we're going to keep it monetized unless it gets like mass flagged and then we'll take action. They had to be dragged kicking and screaming to this by the corporations that were feeding them ad revenue. Now, by the way, YouTube's going to lose a hell of a lot more money because these corporations, now that so many fewer larger creators are being monetized, that means that their ad campaigns last longer, which means they have to buy fewer ad campaigns, which means YouTube is losing more money. Do you honestly think Google, of all companies, wanted that to happen? Or do you think that they had no choice but to react that way to shield the general TOS from any changes because they don't want to sanitize the platform? Google's trying to protect you, you dumbass. And you're such an ingrate. You're sitting there complaining about how YouTube is abusing you. Oh, I'm going to flee over to VidMe, which has 1/1000th the platform. Let me monetize things there. I'm sure I'll make a lot of money. No, you're not. No, absolutely not. And you know what's going to happen? By the way, to those who think YouTube is going to die now because of demonetization, you know what'll actually happen? You might rage quit YouTube and I'll gain more of an audience because of that. Because I don't care what happens to ad revenue. I don't. I don't take ad revenue. And other people that don't take ad revenue will absorb your audience because they don't take ad revenue. We'll still be here. We'll still be using YouTube. I branched out to VidMe not because I was worried about YouTube collapsing so much as I've got over 100,000 subscribers. I need to branch out. I want to have a presence on other sites. I'm also moving to Dailymotion and Vimeo, or however you pronounce it. Some people have criticized that. I have problems. I'm a Vermonter. I'm an old-time Vermont, like Connecticut River accent. I can't help it. That's what I'm doing. I'm simply branching out. I want to like quadruple upload everything for different audiences. You know, somebody might only use VidMe. They might boycott YouTube. I want them to be able to see my content and not feel guilty about seeing it. It's that simple. I'm not going to sit here and whine about YouTube abusing me. YouTube hasn't even changed the general TOS. They've loosened the general TOS. Drug use? They don't care if you use drugs apparently anymore on the platform. Youth fighting? Oh, come on. World Star Hip Hop. How many videos do you think depict that on YouTube and get left alone? They get set to restricted mode, maybe. And that's about the sum and substance of it. Okay, you can't monetize videos of people beating each other over the head with baseball bats. How terrible. How abusive. How censorship-ridden. Harassment? There's a shit ton of that on YouTube. YouTube is tame in its censorship compared to what it used to be. You're going to tell me, for some of these larger content creators are like post-2013 YouTube anyway. You know, they shot to the top after that. They don't even remember what old school YouTube was like. You're going to tell me, after years of taking channels down for wanton copyright infringement, sometimes without there even being real copyright infringement, because of claims by third parties that had nothing to do with being copyright holders in the first place, you're going to tell me that after several years of that happening, YouTube is suddenly abusing you because it deprives you of some of your money because you're making edgy content, even though the TOS already stated 2 years ago that it was in breach of TOS. That's what you think? Very well. You keep muddle along in your delusions. Keep on in those delusions. Don't say I didn't warn you that this was coming, because I did. Others did too. It didn't take a genius to figure out what the legacy media would do next. They're trying to suppress any entertainer, any analyst, any social commentator, anyone who delves into politics, anyone that makes comedy, who isn't part of the lamestream media. And it's not going to get better. You're not going to get relief on the AdSense side from this for a long time. In time, Google will probably rescind part of this. To say, okay, well, it's unpopular, we have no choice. No, the real reason will be because it's boiled over. Nobody cares anymore. The social panic is over, so they can do that. They don't have to worry. So they can keep making more money. By then, for some of these larger content creators, it'll be too late. You think, if you have 250,000, 500,000, 1 million, 10 million subscribers, that you can't make a living getting crowdfunding? Look at my channel. I have 120,000 subscribers. By no means in the top rung of YouTubers. Sort of second tier. Yeah, it's a large channel, but it's not a juggernaut. I'm making $3,000 a month taking crowdfunding. Now, what would happen if I had 5 million subscribers? Do you think I'd be able to get by? Yeah, I think I'd be able to get by. I think I'd be just fine. And I wouldn't be sitting there whining because my AdSense revenue was removed from me. Because I never would have taken it in the first place. Just use common sense. Switch to crowdfunding. That's all you have to do. If your content is not strictly G-rated, number one, G-rated content. Number two, you're a YouTube partner, absolutely unfettered. Number three, you go out of your way to be as politically correct as possible. Don't talk about politics. Don't talk about current events. Don't talk about social issues. Don't talk about anything like that. Spiritual issues. Anything that could possibly rile somebody. Never talk about them. Don't even joke about them. Don't satirize them. Don't mention them in passing. Don't make a token video on the subject. If you're willing to avoid all of those issues and become exactly what killed TV, then you can take ad revenue. For everyone else, there's crowdfunding. People will support you for being noble. People will support you for giving up the corporate teat. That includes people with large established channels who have spent years taking ad revenue. Just come out, make a video, say, I'm no longer taking ad revenue. I can't deal with this, number one. I'm not willing to compromise my material. I'm asking you to support me. What's the worst that can happen? You take a slight pay cut. Your pay cut's going to be a lot larger if you keep relying on ad revenue, especially if you sanitize your material. People didn't subscribe to you to be a cuck. People didn't subscribe to you because you were sanitized. They subscribed to you. If you're worried about this at all, they subscribe to you because you're kind of edgy. At least a little bit. You know, PG-13 content like PewDiePie. If he can get called a Nazi and the label can stick, if people can maliciously edit Wikipedia's alt-right article to put in a link to PewDiePie's channel, my goodness, what do you think they can do to people who are actually a little bit on the right And they're not actually like PewDiePie. He's left-leaning. At most, he's a centrist or apolitical. And they can label him a Nazi, and the label kind of sticks. If they can do that to him, someone with 50 million plus subscribers, what are they going to do with you? They'll make you mincemeat. That's also why I've claimed we should have YouTube togetherness. The larger content creators need to stick together within their genres. They need to prop one another up and form syndicates. Off-paper, very informal confederacy-style systems where they share subscribers, they share material around, they coordinate to some small degree to try to defend one another from the legacy media that is clearly trying to destroy them. So far, I've had a handful of channels interested. Varg showed interest. The Golden One showed interest. Some of these other channels showed interest. I found it to be a great success. What do you think I could have done if I had 10 million subscribers already? It would have been wonderful. It would have made my job a lot easier. I could have focused just on channels with over 50,000 subscribers and nobody would have blamed me for it. Instead, I wasn't exactly doing that. I thought it was a success. Why isn't PewDiePie doing this? You're worried about AdSense. Take crowdfunding and tell people, yeah, you should share my channel around. Here's a list of some other channels that I support. They should support me. Let's form a kind of loose syndicate. It worked. Look at my channels grow. It worked. No, I don't see any problem with this. I'm not losing any money because Google decides to add an extra layer to Adsense TOS. They're basically just enforcing the TOS they already had. People whining about YouTube, AdSense, Armageddon. It's not Armageddon. Stop whining and grandstanding. Lying to your subscribers. Telling them that the sky is falling. Sky's not falling. You're still going to be on YouTube. Don't kid yourself. You're still going to make videos. You just won't make as much money. And if you're smart, you'll move to crowdfunding, and then you won't even really have to worry about this situation. That's what's going to happen. That's about all. Peace out.